Welcome to the hill, gardeners, coming at you from a very different space. Coming to you right now from the basement to start this video off because our first 2 weeks in this house, we've been doing a lot of work on the basement, or rather, paying our entire life savings to a couple of companies to do a lot of work on the basement. So this house was built in 1840. We have a dirt floor basement, and the walls of the basement were the old original field stone walls that were like 2 feet thick, that were a mix of field stone, the natural stones found in the area, and lots of cement or concrete or mortar, whatever they used at the time. And they were leaky and drippy, and one of the walls was bowing, which means it was being moved by the forces of water. And this floor in here was very moist, very wet. There was always water running around down it. So first we had a company come in and waterproof the walls. That was very expensive, but this is their waterproofing system that they installed. And they made this drainage system around the walls to take the water pressure off the walls and off the floors and drain it to a fancy new sump pump. There was a sump pump here before, but it was pretty jerry-rigged. But this is our new sump pump. It's quiet, it's small, it's hidden away. And that's our very expensive drainage system. So this keeps the walls dry and the basement dry, and it keeps it actually immediately warmer down here. It immediately felt like 20 degrees warmer, even though this wasn't supposed to be like an insulating thing. The basement immediately felt warmer since they did that. And that's great because we have the original wood floors in this house, and these are the floorboards. And those are gaps between the boards, and it goes straight into the house. So you can see daylight through the boards. That's in the house. There's nothing between those boards in the basement. So all the cool air from the basement goes right into the house, which in the winter is not great. So we're actually going to eventually insulate the basement. And also we're putting in new flooring on top of the original wood floors. And that'll help protect the wood floors for somebody in the future. If somebody actually wants the wood floor look, they can have it, but we want to cover up these boards to protect them. Yeah, you can hear my parrots in the house above us because there's no insulation. It's just, that's the house up there. You can see the original wood beams that are rotting away. So it's been fun. Anyway, the other work we had done was we had this very, very expensive system put in, the Spark Jack system, because they had a cobbled together system of different boards and different temporary supports that were rotting away and rusting away, corroding away. So we had a company come out and put in this other system to keep the house somewhat stable. We'll still in the future occasionally have to deal with the replacement of these guys by sistering up more, I guess, joists, but they've helped stabilize the house with this system. Again, very expensive. We were stupid. We bought an old house, and so our entire life savings that we were going to spend doing like a really nice fancy greenhouse so we could still grow tropicals up here, and a nice solar setup so we wouldn't have to have an electric bill. Like in Florida, we didn't have an electric bill. Well, that money has all gone to modernizing this basement and stabilizing the house and keeping things dry in here. So, but you got to take care of the house. You know, we want this house to last another 200 years, so we got to start by making sure the basement is dry and that the house is stable. So house first, our dreams of a tropical greenhouse, maybe never. But all right, back to why I'm down here. While they were doing all this work, everywhere where they put one of these support jacks in the ground and that whole drainage system around the edge, they dug out a lot of dirt, at least 2 feet deep. And they were going to haul all that dirt, and it contained a lot of rocks. They were going to haul that all out to the dump. And we told them, don't worry about it, leave it here. We're going to make use of it. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing with all the dirt they dug out of our basement. 200-year-old dirt. All right, so here is that pile of all the dirt and rocks and concrete that they dug out of our basement that they would have otherwise had to carry in garbage cans on their back way out there to the driveway and to the back of their truck, and then would have taken it to the dump. So we just said leave it here. And what we're doing with it is we're sorting it. We've got the sieve, and we're just separating out the soil from the big rocks and the smaller rocks. And we'll be able to use that soil around the yard where we have low spots that need to be filled, and there's a lot of low spots. A lot of areas where they have erosion from over the years, so the soil will go in the low spots and the gravel is going. I'll show you. After we sieve out the gravel, we're putting it over here, and this whole weed cloth will at some point be covered. And the larger rocks, I'm going to make a little border under here because this house does not have gutters. Eventually we hope to rectify that when we catch up with our finances someday from the basement repairs, but right now, to deal with all that water coming off to stop further erosion of the yard, we're going to put a strip of gravel here where the drip line is, which you can see where the drip line is. So that gravel will be here to slow down the movement of that water from eroding away the soil, and it's all local gravel from our basement. So this was just from yesterday, just from a very small portion of that pile way over there. So I'm going to be able to do the whole front of the house, and then I'll have extra gravel for maybe helping to fill in some low spots on the driveway, some other areas around the yard where we want some decorative gravel, but that's a way to locally source materials. And that sieve that I'm using to sieve the gravel out was made with materials we found in the workshop here that the previous owner left behind, along with an antique cannon, which we'll talk about another time. But yep, this is all reused material from the basement. Maybe I'll find some cool rocks when they get washed off by the rain. Here's some spring blooms. Non-native crocus, I think. So it's not invasive, so we'll leave them. We'll add natives. Oh, look at that. We've got an interesting little pollinator here. Some kind of little wasp or bee. I'm not sure, I don't know my pollinators up here yet. And some more crocus with a non-native European honeybee. And over here we have some kind of wild garlic or onion species. I'm not sure if it's the wild garlic, or I guess there's something called like a nodding onion or something. We'll have to wait and see which one of those this guy is. Definitely a garlicky, garlic chive kind of flavor to them. Yes, I tried them. I'm still alive. It was a couple of days ago. Nothing happened, don't worry. I eat random stuff in the wild all the time. Don't do it if you can't identify things, obviously. And anyway, that's about it for today. We're just gonna be, it's gonna be our project now is sieving through all this and finding uses for the gravel and the rocks and the concrete bricks and the dirt all around the yard to reuse these materials that have been buried under the basement for years and try to make sure that they have a long, useful life rather than sending them to the landfill or dump or wherever they were going to go. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and happy gardening.